Hi, Glenn Phillips here with Lake Homes Realty and lakehomes.com. Today I want to help you buy a lake home like a pro. So here's some tips I have for you. First off, you need to think about, are you thinking like an investor or I want what I want? Why does that matter? Well, investors are going to think about ROI. If you want to purchase a home and you know you want to maybe make some money or preserve value, then you're going to have a different set of math about what you're willing to pay and buy than someone goes, look, I want what I want. I have a friend of mine, at his lake home, he added this really expensive pool to a small house, and he told me, he said, Glenn, I know I'm never going to get my money out of this pool, but I just wanted it. He wanted about the experience and the life. And so this is two different thoughts about how you approach the financial aspects. You're willing to overspend because it's like, hey, we could have taken a trip to Europe and instead we're going to spend extra. It's going to be the same return to our life experience. Or I want this to hold my value, hold my money. When it's time to exit, I get that money back as investment. Maybe not necessarily for me, but maybe the next generation of my family. The second way to buy a lake home like a pro is know your number. What is it that you're really going to spend? Now, a lot of people, if they want what they want, can kind of start with the number and then they drift, well, okay, we'll spend a little bit more, we'll scrape up a bit more. If you're in the investor stage, you're gonna have a hard number, like this is my max, this is where the math works, unless there's an anomaly. If you have some floating there, then you've got a different type of number. But if you don't know what your number is, you can become an emotional decision maker, and this often is the most likely scenario to have some regret later, like, oh, I got enthusiastic. It's kind of like the same when people get in an auction. The auctioneers count on everybody to make an emotional decision and become enthusiastic. Tip number 3 about buying a lake home like a pro is use a lake expert real estate agent. Now, naturally, we have a lot of these. You can find them on lakehomes.com. But even if it's not one of our agents, there's a value to someone who understands the nuances of each lake, and they are different from lake to lake. Someone who's not a lake-focused real estate agent may not can explain or the different nuances that make a lake home valuable or less valuable, or the gotchas that can trick people when they're, if you've got an agent represents you that doesn't know the lake, the seller's agent doesn't know the lake, nobody knows the questions to ask that come up that are just different than buying primary residential homes. So being a pro means using a pro who's an expert in the market. They're going to be worth it, just like if you go pay the right premium to get the great attorney or the great surgeon. Next, do the due diligence. If there's problems that we see in transactions, it's an amateur mistake of, oh yeah, we don't need a survey, I can kind of tell where the property line is. No, you can't. Even if there are posts out there, you don't know that matches. Same thing with due diligence about liens and properties and title insurance. People who do not do their due diligence are far more likely to be surprised based on an assumption they made. If you're going to buy like a pro, you're going to do the due diligence. Yes, it'll take a little bit longer. Hey, it might even make the deal fall apart. And I think some people are so optimistic, I want this to work, that they're willing to go in a little blind. So don't be blind, do the due diligence. And point number 5 is keep your options open. You can have some hard and fast rules, I gotta have, like to have, and don't care. But sometimes something will come along and you need to be able to consider it, not have an emotional response, but understand that there may be a property, because they're very different lakes, that's not what you expected. Maybe it might even be more pleasing. Maybe it's not on your list because you didn't expect to find a property like this available at the price. Do your due diligence, use an expert agent, know your number, and decide how you want to do it. And with that, be flexible, and including not only during the offer and evaluation stage, but in the negotiation. Maybe you could give something that was valuable to the seller they didn't think for, or maybe you might want to buy something from them. Maybe you want to buy the boat, maybe you want to buy the jet skis, maybe you want to buy the furniture. These things make the dynamics of a transaction happen. And so don't get hard and set on it, keep your options open. So if you want to buy a lake home like a pro, I hope these 5 tips have been helpful. Be sure and check out lakehomes.com, where you can see tens of thousands of lake homes available, as well as land and lots right now across the country, as well as expert lake agents who can guide you in each local market where the rules are different and the regulations are different and the markets are different. Hope this information was helpful. Have a great day. For more information, be sure to check out lakehomes.com.